Great. So, good evening, everyone. Today we will be talking about searching the literature. So, searching the literature forms a very crucial part of our research journey, and as it involves a lot of evidence gathering and critical analysis of the evidence, it is very crucial that the kind of research papers we are reading are exhaustive in nature, and we should make sure that we at least read around 50 to 60 papers in a field to properly become acquainted with that field. And for that to happen, we must rely on a systematic way to extract literature rather than some haphazard or unsystematic way to extract literature for our reading. So today's lecture is focused on that aspect of research methodology. So why should we learn to search the literature? So usually what students do is, what in fact I also used to do, was that I would search randomly on Google or sometimes Google Scholar to obtain the research papers that would be useful for my research. But after some time I realized that there is actually a way to search the literature, exactly like there is a way to write academic writing. So that is why it is essential for us as budding researchers to know the systematics of searching the literature in a proper field. So essentially, we would want to start with a broad area of interest and would list down all the key terms which relate to that area. And then we will put those terms in our search portal, and that I will see, and we will also do it together today. So before we begin searching for literature or research paper, we should know the portals which we can use to search our literature. So because our domain is computer science, I have listed down some portals. So mainly these are the key computer science resources which you must bookmark in your systems and frequent them very normally and very recurrently so that you get to know what are the recent developments in your area. You can also subscribe to these resources so that when next time any research paper or any manuscript pertaining to your area of interest comes up, you get notified directly in your email box. So these are the key computer science resources which you shall be using. I've also listed down key health science resources because computer science and information technology is heavily used in health sciences research and innovation, and health is an area in which these are rapidly making a lot of progress. So it is also nice to remember, if you are working in any health related domain, that these are the key health sciences resources. So to give a demo today, I have decided to use the IEEE Explore example, and using that website I will try to discuss it with you how to search the literature. So, suppose we want to search for papers related to cancer disease, which relate to modeling of the cancer disease. So, I have identified three main terms: cancer, data, and modeling. And based on, and by no means these three search terms are exhaustive. I have just used them for example purposes. So, obviously, it will expand when you actually do your research. So, for example, if I want to if I want to search this on IEEE Explore, so I will go to this website. So you can also try to do side by side as I'm doing. So this is the home page of IEEE Explore. So generally what we do is we search here, but then there is this option also, which is advanced research. So we can go on this link. So try to search your research papers on the portals that I have mentioned. Google search can be done at the end of when you have searched your literature in all these portals, so that the papers which you could not obtain from these portals, which is quite unlikely, you can get from Google. So I'm not saying don't do your searches on Google, but not as a first resort. So now, as you can see in this advanced research, you can enter the search terms. So for example, if my search term is cancer, and this is the AND operator, it is much similar to the operators that we have studied. So because I want my paper to involve cancer and data and modeling, so that is why I will use these AND operators. And here I can specify the year range. So for example, if I want papers in the last 20 years, so I can simply write this and click on search. So IEEE Explore gives these many options for searching your literature, and when I click on search, so all those paper which have these three terms together or in AND operation will be specified in my results, and then I can look through those papers. You don't have to read all these papers, but you can just read at the abstract of these papers to understand how relevant they are to your area of interest. So this way you can search the relevant papers in your domain using IEEE. So the idea is you don't have to read the entire paper, you just read the abstract of the results and then you can go back. Now, if to say another example, if I wanted to search on a paper, so for example, so here as you can see that when we search this, IEEE search query is this. So metadata is data of data. That means it will contain all the exhaustive papers on IEEE Explore, and in all those fields it will search the words cancer in operation and with data and with modeling. You can search here, you can further narrow down the fields if you want to specifically search for these terms in authors, publication title, abstract, or using these options you can further refine your search. So I hope this is clear. Any questions here?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So next I want to discuss is the use of OR operator. So if you remember, in our literature review survey, in our literature review lecture, I had discussed about scoping reviews and systematic reviews. So these reviews are much more heavy than literature review, and the aim of systematic reviews or scoping reviews or meta-analysis is to go through everything that has ever been written on a particular field and to get to know about all the evidence in that field, so that after gathering the exhaustive results of all the experiments performed in that field, all the type of studies, I can extract out the final conclusion points from these papers in a particular area. So for example, generally in medical health, what happens is medical developments happen very quickly, and doctors normally do not get much time to get through all the research papers and all the developments in their area, and to get to know about the recent medical innovations or practices or improved system for clinical decision making in their fields. So what they do is, in generally in their own area, they might go through some systematic review paper which has been published, and in that paper they will find everything that is relevant in their work. So when we do such kind of literature review, which in itself is a huge dissertation process. So for example, when a PhD student generally in United Kingdom spends 3 years in PhD, so first year they would do systematic review of their topic, so that they not only become familiar with the literature, but they become familiar about everything that has been written in their area of interest. That gives them a good amount of, in fact an excellent amount of understanding in their area. The second year they do some kind of quantitative study, and third year they do qualitative study. And then the results of these three studies combined in 3 years forms the thesis which they defend later on. So the thing is, when we do scoping reviews and systematic reviews, then we use OR operator. This is actually OR. Sorry for the wrong spelling. So I will show you how it is used. So for example, if I'm doing a systematic review on say obesity, so what do you think are the similar words to obesity?
BMI,
BMI, right? And
disease,
what kind of disease? It should be specific to obesity. So think
heart,
of something synonymous to obesity because my systematic review or scoping review involves obesity. Overweight, maybe. What other words do you think?
Plump,
BMI.
BMI is written correct?
Yeah.
plumpness,
Yeah. And think. Because the paper on obesity might not always contain the word obesity. It might contain BMI, plumpness, or body fat, something like that.
you can use heaviness or body fat.
Yeah, heaviness,
Ma'am,
fatness, yes.
edema.
Edema is a what skin disease, something like that. What is exactly
Ma'am, edema.
spelling?
EDEMA.
That's I think some skin disorder or something like that.
It's related to swelling.
Okay. Waist circumference. Sometimes people use waist circumference to tell about obesity. And note that when the search term involves phrase, we usually put it in double quotes. So if it's more than one word, we use double quotes. Sometimes people also use BMI Z score or BMI percentile. So note that here I know that the papers on this topic may not always use this term. They may use these terms also. So I have to come up with a searching strategy. What we are discussing right now is called a searching strategy. So before we begin to search any paper, we need to have a strategy for every portal, a common strategy, and then we use that strategy everywhere. So now if I click on search, it should provide me all the papers which are in this domain. Now note that if I get a paper on edema, it may not relate directly to obesity. And to clarify that, I might have to go through the abstract of the paper and after abstract screening. So this is called as screening. When we get the results of our search query, we individually screen all the research papers. And there are levels to screening. So first level screening is always title screening. Some papers you read the title and you know right at that moment that this is not relevant to your research work, so you omit them right at that point. Second level screening happens at abstract level when you read the abstract of the remaining papers which are left after the title screening has been done, and then you read those abstracts and then decide whether or not it is relevant to your research. Even after abstract screening, then there will be further research papers which will be left, which you will think are the most relevant for your study, and these papers you will read full. You will have a full reading of these papers, and finally after reading all these full papers, you will decide whether or not which ones are relevant for your work. So this is the result. So there are about 237 results for our search query of these conference standards, and then you can choose which ones you want. So this is how the results are organized. You note the elongated search query also for this one. So this is how IEEE Explore searches the data. So similarly, tomorrow if you want to search in your particular domain, say IoT or agriculture or image recognition, you can use the similar terms and use the right operators, and that would be a better way to get all the literature in your relevant for your work. Recently, my friend told me that there is this website on which lot of papers are freely available. So the idea behind this website is that science should not be a preserve of people who have money or who can afford to have subscriptions. So maybe I'm not supposed to share this, but I really found it useful. So most of the research papers you can get on this website is called as Science Hub. So if you're not able to obtain any research papers which are here on IEEE, you try to search here. If you are still not able to find here, you can always write to your library and your library will purchase it for you. Any questions here? Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So this is what we saw in the IEEE advanced search. So this I mentioned only for IEEE, but remember when you are searching for your particular area, you search, you first finish your search in this paper, okay, in this portal, then you use this portal and use the same query. All the queries which are the same, you run on these portals and try to gather your research papers. Now, obviously, a one natural question arises that where will you store all these research papers that you are downloading? And by storing, I don't mean keeping it in folder, but sometimes there will be duplicated research papers that you might come across, and it quickly becomes very complex and complicated to keep track of all the research papers that you are downloading. I think probably I'll do another lecture on reference managers, softwares, and how they are useful in managing the bulk of literature that we will go through. In today's lecture, I have mentioned some of the software. Probably some in future classes, I would love to discuss them with you and show you how they operate. So this is how we saw in IEEE Advanced Search. There is another portal I want to discuss, but before that, I just want to show you. So for example, if my search term was dietary pattern, and I wanted to search for all the papers in this field. So dietary pattern is called as food habits or nutrition and multiple other terms. So I would use this OR operator, fix my year range and search. So this way I will obtain my relevant research papers. So this is how the result looks. I also want to discuss one of the very fantastic portals to search the literature. This is Web of Science, and after that I will discuss PubMed also. So Web of Science is one of my favorites because I think it is very well organized. Sorry. So this is how Web of Science looks. So for example, if I again want to search, say for example for cancer, then here I can add a row and here the operator is there. So it's almost similar to IEEE, but it is much more organized, I feel. And my first go-to choice is always Web of Science. And here we can select the duration. And these are the other journals which are part of Web of Science. So I can select from these ones which I want or not. And then I can run my search. And here also I can choose whether this is should occur in title, author, publication date, or things like that. So if I search, so this is the result that comes. This you see is you will not see in your website. This is only for students belonging to the university. So universities usually have subscriptions for research papers. So this is the results. Again, for this you will do title screening or abstract screening, whichever is relevant. One important thing to look out for this is that you can export these references. So you click on, and these are all the reference managers. So EndNote Desktop, EndNote Online, Excel, and all these things. So for example, for students generally EndNote Online is preferred because it is free and it is easier to maintain your data. As I mentioned in subsequent classes, I will have a tutorial on EndNote also. So what happens is that you don't have to save this and keep in your folders. You can just export it to EndNote, and then EndNote, when you see, it will show you a list of your papers and abstracts and everything. So there you can remove the duplicates, remove the irrelevant papers, and that's how you can manage your references. So reference managing as a researcher is also a very important skill which you will begin to appreciate as you go longer in this research journey, and especially useful when you are doing a scoping review or systematic review. So here the results are 42,551. Note that here the query I have used is very small. As you narrow down your area, there will be more terms that you want to use, and this list will keep on increasing, and then you search, so that search will be more effective. Another website I want to show is PubMed. So these are actually places in which papers from multiple journals are shared. So always go for the advanced search. And for every portal, the way to search is different, but the technique works very same. So here again, if I write cancer and I add it, so next, if I have to specify a term, here only I have to specify the operator, add with and then it will be added here. And then I can search. And here again, if you see closely, this is send to is there. And my bibliographic collections is also a type of reference manager and citation manager. So this is how we can organize our results. The one thing to note is that here you can see that we can further sort by article type. So if I want only systematic reviews in this paper, then only systematic reviews relating to cancer and data will come into this thing. So this way you can further narrow down your research. So the idea behind sharing this is that we often get boggled up that where to search for our relevant literature. But the idea is very simple. Get to know the portals in your field. Go to the advanced search there. May have a search strategy. Make a search strategy. Write down your search strategy. Search strategy is nothing but writing down the terms which you will be searching and the operators involved. I think after today's class, I will share a sample of search strategy on the portal in the classroom. It will be helpful for you to look at that. So that was Web of Science and PubMed. So as I've mentioned, OR operator is generally used in scoping and systematic review search. and to search for systematic review. So, for example, later on in your research journey, if you want to read about all the research papers which have been written in IoT, which talk about connected homes for old people, and you want to look at the systematic reviews on those topics. So, this is the portal which only contains systematic reviews. I know systematic reviews as a term might be coming across as quite boggling to you, but in the advanced form of the research methodology, I have decided to discuss about that also. So let
What
me
is the
show
meaning
you.
of systematic review in a proper manner, in a proper order?
So systematic review is the review of entire literature that has ever been written on a particular topic. The idea behind systematic review is that, see, people do individual studies, okay? They take sample from wherever they are, and so suppose if I'm trying to understand what is the relationship between the BMI of children and the kind of food they bring in the classrooms from their homes, okay? And I do a study in Delhi, and then do a study in Pune, I do another study in Kerala, and then I do a similar study in United States and UK. So these are fragmented pieces of evidence gathered from different places, but the problem that they are solving is common. Now I, as a researcher, wants to know what is the conclusive evidence on the relationship between the lunchbox content of students and their BMI status. So what I do is I gather all the studies relating to this problem from all over the world. Maybe there are 100 and 200 studies. I filter those studies based on certain criteria, that I need only children from first class to 12th class, and maybe who are living in cities, who are going to public schools. So after narrowing down my criteria, I get a certain set of research papers, say 50. Now how I read these papers from abstract till conclusion, and then I note down the vital findings. And from the vital findings of all these research papers, I am able to give one statement about the entire evidence of this from reading all these papers. So this kind of study is called a systematic review. So generally what happens is systematic reviews generally are based on quantitative studies, because after analyzing the results of all the individual quantitative studies, I come at the final indicator association, a final value which will tell me the degree of association. So that is what is systematic review. I will cover that in advanced research methodology lecture. So, but for now, it is the evidence of evidence. And when I go through all the studies which have been conducted in one domain, then I am actually at a better position to comment upon the evidence rather than reading the individual studies. Is it clear now?
Yes, ma'am.
Great. So, whenever you want to search for systematic reviews on any topic, especially Cochrane is for specially medical. So, systematic reviews and scoping reviews are especially very much prevalent in medical sciences, because medical sciences changes very rapidly, and the usage of drugs in specific positions and specific population also changes. So that is why doctors, rather than reading individual studies, they often read systematic reviews. So as a research scholar, you should be aware of all the kind of research studies, and we will be taking this slowly in our advanced lectures. So you must have heard about evidence-based medicine or personalized medicine, and all these terms are very relevant to systematic review, and this is something you must visit if you are interested in that. So again, the recommendations to improve the searching skills are, because you will be doing your mini projects and of course your thesis. So the idea is to develop a search strategy, discuss it with your mentor or peers, or if you want, I could have a look at your search strategy before you start searching for the relevant literature in your area, and then use it on the portals that I've mentioned. Ideally, you would want to learn how to manage your references, and there comes the use of reference managers. So couple of reference managers I have mentioned here: BibTeX, Mendeley, Zotero, and EndNote. Zotero is free, Mendeley is also free, EndNote online is free. So far I have found all these four very useful. It would be good if you could explore these individually, because I will also be taking a tutorial on this one. I think it is useful and it will help you in organizing your literature. And apart from that, I think this was the pending lecture on the LaTeX class, so I scheduled a separate class for this one. So that was about searching the literature. Do you have any questions? Is things somewhat clear about how to search the literature? What does it all mean? Next time, I hope you will go to your relevant portals and search rather than unsystematically searching on Google.
Ma'am, yes, ma'am, it is all clear, but this point is your reference manager,
Hmm.
BibTeX or Mendeley, this work as a repository of research papers.
No, they are not repository of the research papers. Repository of the research paper is typically IEEE or Web of Science that we have used.
Okay,
What
yeah,
what these do is that whenever you download a paper on your system,
yes.
we often get lost in different folders and we don't remember
Hmm.
where we have put a research paper and things like that. So it becomes very difficult to manage research papers when the volume of research paper increases. So what these do is that they may not contain the PDF file, they just contain the name of the research paper and the author, so you know that which research papers you have already accessed on your system and which you have in your folder. So they provide an overview of all the research papers you will be reading or you have read. So that's how it helps. So for example, Mendeley has a this add-on also in Firefox, and same Zotero. So whenever you want to search or save a paper, you just click on it and export it to Mendeley. So it will sync it with your offline system. I think when I take a lecture on this, it will become more clear, Shashwat.
Sure, ma'am.
But it will be good to learn about these reference managers. Any other question? So either things are clear to you or they are not clear to you. So the idea is that because you'll be working very heavily with research papers and everything, so I strongly recommend that you develop a search strategy and try to use that strategy in the respective portals, and then you will automatically feel the difference that your search becomes much more structured. And once you introduce reference managers, it will become further structured. So make sure you follow this approach. And this was all for today. In the upcoming lectures, I will be moving slightly advanced, and we will be talking about types of research designs and different methods of doing studies. And we'll also be working on analysis of quantitative data and mixed methods data. So I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with R or Python. We will be using these languages for analysis of quantitative data, because I think a little bit of data analysis also goes a long way in understanding the research methodology and getting familiar with our data. So I've introduced this also, and major research methodology books also talk a lot about analysis of the quantitative and qualitative data. So, but I should also include systematic reviews and scoping reviews and reference managers. So that is the plan for the upcoming lectures. Thank you. If there are any questions, the floor is open.
Excuse me, ma'am. Do you suggest
Yeah.
any statistics books for this analysis and all that? Or
So it depends on what you are looking for. So because there are multiple statistics books, and So there are books on basic statistics, or fundamentals of statistics, advanced statistics. So the topics that you are looking for, that will matter.
Okay, ma'am.
So probably you can take this up offline, but I think